Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Actual Play Rebel Crown. I believe this is episode 5, but only because I cheated and I checked the episode numbers right before we started streaming. Hi, my name is Strash, he, him. I'm one of the regular streamers here. Um, I'm I, because the world is what it is these days, until further notice, all subscriptions and donations, cheers, etc., that come to the channel, we are forwarding and splitting between BLM and the Translegal Defense Fund. Um, and yeah, that's it for me right now. Luke, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Hi, I'm Luke. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on Twitter at Wildwoods Games. Yeah, life is pretty chill right now. It's a beautiful spring day outside in Australia. That's about all from me. Lauren, I understand it is not a beautiful spring day where you are.
Yeah, I was just thinking before the stream, like, God dang, it's like getting really dark at 5 these days. I was like, oh yeah, I probably should invest in some lighting so you can see me now because it's going to get you natural daylight. Anyway, I'm Lauren. I use she, they. I am playing the claimant tonight in Rebel Crown, who is Kale Lolaire, accused race worshipper. Her whole family has been cast off and slaughtered and discarded for these accusations of worshipping race, and we're on a journey to topple the corrupt ruler that started that rumor and win back the throne for the witch people. I'll
Sorry, which people?
exactly.
You're on now.
How are you doing, Judd?
I'm all right. I got to write this down. We have witch people. I have no idea. Something that wasn't anywhere. Wasn't anywhere in my notes. Witch people. Capital W, capital P.
Yeah, note to selves: we should all just say random things about the setting now at a semi-regular basis and make Judd scramble to keep up.
No, it's awesome. That's what we do. Hey, my name is Judd. He, him, and I don't know. I gave blood today. That was my big. That was my big thing. Apparently they were really low, so I went in and got stuck and read Twitter, which was
What's your blood type, Judd?
A plus apparently.
Oh.
It's
You're
good.
the
I've got to
best.
get an A plus in something. You know,
Yeah.
it's got to be. Might as well be blood.
I feel like we're in a Japanese RPG where our blood types are listed on our character sheets or something.
Well, back in the day, I remember in my anthropology course reading someone's honors thesis on the cultural significance of Hello Kitty having a blood type and the ways in which blood circulates as a metaphor through. It was fucking great thesis, let me tell you.
That's interesting.
Good times.
I had no idea that she had a blood type. The only Hello Kitty story I know is they were interviewing the creator, who's a Japanese woman, and they said, "Why do you think so many young ladies love Hello Kitty?" And she said, "Because she's drawn without a mouth."
Oh,
And I was
that's kind of scary.
What? There's some depth there and some darkness that I had no idea existed in Hello Kitty land. Wow.
No, it's they do personality types kind of like people's horoscopes, so it's like saying that someone's a Scorpio or whatever. Blood
Right.
types are similar in that regard.
Negative people are just type A people, they're really assertive and take charge.
Yeah,
I'm making that up. I don't know if that's actually what it is, but
well, we had that for a while in Western psychology with squamous blood or I don't know, another. I had to learn it for Psych 101. I forgot it all now, but yeah, various blood types.
yes, I have a lot of melancholic humor in me these days.
Yeah, you got to watch your humors. Got to get your humor out.
Very important.
All right.
With H.
So-
We're on fire tonight.
We're on something tonight.
I'm just reading something on the my local blood donation website. I need someone to confirm for me, is this real or bullshit? It says here that O positive people can change their blood to another kind. This is just a goof, right? Like that can't be real.
It's relevant to me.
They're
I mean,
blood
look-
chameleons. They've always been that way.
I guess.
I mean, that's actually like. No, I'm gonna rewind. We're getting out of this. I was gonna talk about mysteries
Yeah,
and
you said
how you can have
something.
different blood types based on if you've had chemotherapy and marrow donations and stuff. But
I don't think
Nope.
that's what they mean.
rewinding. Let's just
Strauss is tapping out of his imagination.
let's be rebels with crowns and wraiths and witches, witch people.
Yeah.
Blind.
So
And
Uh,
blood.
Blood inside
Lots
your
of
character
blood.
at all times, please.
I think
Yeah.
it's a lovely,
Right.
lovely thing. I think it's just kind of funny, like if you're making a character sheet, to actually have some of these questions that help you think about your personality in ways that are maybe a little bit more useful in terms of listing personality traits you can play rather than just the standard alignment grid, right? But like,
Brother Orin is definitely O negative.
I don't actually know the O types or I'm sorry, the blood types.
Universal donor, right?
Oh,
Like,
I see. Of course,
like,
of course.
of course he is.
I have no idea what Arter would be, but I'll look it up. Speaking of which, Luke, you'll be so proud of me. I actually wrote all of my beliefs and drives down on my character sheet now. So, haha, I can always answer that question now. So proud. I did homework. All right, Judd, I know that you
Yeah.
rewatched the episode just before we got started. So, do you want to give us a
Yeah.
little recap of what happened last time?
I rewatched the last 20, I fast forwarded a bunch, but I got the idea. So last 20 to 40 minutes. Essentially we got 2 of the 3 recons done. So
Okay.
we are doing a sortie. I managed to call it sortie and not a job. So that's 10 points for me. We were planning a sortie to, I believe, take Avens. And there was we did a one recon where Father Orin went and talked to his old friend who now works for.
Can I jump in just for 10 seconds? I know for a fact that we have people that aren't regular viewers in chat, so I'm just going to
Yeah.
give this piece of the recap. We are...
Do it.
Wait, hang on. I actually have a map of the setting. Haha. Hang on, let me
Rock
fix
out.
my Roll20 window here real quick.
Yeah, we're in
But-
Whitebeam now.
So we have successfully done a rebellion, and we have taken over the Sedgelands, and we were thinking about going elsewhere, but due to the political circumstances in Whitebeam, we are actually headed southeast, and we are currently trying to do a maneuver to try and handle Avens. Avens is the source of most of their troops, specifically archers. They're renowned for their archers. So we are trying to take over Whitebeam by first reducing their capacity to produce troops that are going to quash our rebellion. So that's where we're at. Judd, keep going.
It's only 30 feet away. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's so close.
we had a recon with Brother Orin, sitting down with an old monk friend of his who is now part of a rebellion called the Common Branch, which are a bunch of insurrectionists fighting against House Gier. And then we had another recon with Arter, who kind of went in to talk to an old friend of his, and things got complicated, and he ended up talking to Sir Alpin of House Koreid, House Koreid, there was a fallen house in this province called Fjorag, and they died. They were destroyed probably before the Witch Queen's family was killed, and House Koreid was sworn to them, and now they are sworn to the house that brought them down. And so, it was a cool. It was a cool interaction where two soldiers, the knight and Arter, were kind of like sitting and talking and getting along, and saying, if you go to cleanse the wraiths from the Fjoreg castle, I'll be there to help you, but I'm the warden of Avens, and I have to do my job. And it was cool. It was a cool interaction. But now we've got Lauren and Kale and Kale's recon, and I think we were talking about possibly having that be the Rob Fioreg, the exiled lord, and having her track him down. But I don't know. What are we thinking? What do you think, Lauren?
Yeah, that sounds like a fun scene. I don't think
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to get Kale talking to someone who is in a similar boat but different, because we kind of saw Kale and the young heir, I guess now, uh, oh god, what's the term? I'm blanking on. Anyway, we started talking to a young lady who had a very similar family situation where we killed her parent and
Right.
took over those establishments, and now this young kid is in the spot Kale was in, dealing with it a lot better, I think. But yes, I think that's good. I'll stop rambling about how that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
no, it's
Let's
great.
do it.
Cool. Where do you think you track him down?
Ooh.
Is he hiding out in the forest? Is he, is he in a church, kind of in sanctuary?
Oh, let's have it be in a. That's a really cool idea. Let's have it be in a church, because I've got a little bit of church scenes between Kale and Brother Aaron, who Luke is playing. So yeah, that'd be neat. I like that.
Cool.
Yeah, then Brother Aaron could be there too, listening in if he wants to be, if he wants to help out.
Brother Aaron is known for being in churches and listening in. It's true.
So awesome. Here's where we start. It is a scene very much like we've seen with Kale and Brother Oren, where young Rob Fiorag, who is he's not that young. I think he's a little bit older than Kale, and has probably like been living this refuge, exile life for a bit longer. He has like a black beard, and like the first bit of it is starting to turn white. Like it's not white yet, but like, he just got like his first like little bit on his chin that just started to turn white. And he is talking to a priest, and he says, "I don't know what to do with all this anger." And the priest says, "Well, there are many paths you can walk to deal with that. You can put that anger to other work and make the world a better place. You can turn your anger against the wraiths. You can dedicate your life to the God of paths and ways, and do good works in his name. Walk that kind of path." And I think he gets up and like flips over a pew and like gets right into the priest's face. And he was like, "My family are wraiths. You want me to take silver to them? They're all that's left. That's all that's left of my house are wraiths. You want me to pledge my way to the church? Why? So I'm defanged? So I'm swordless when Gier finds me? Fuck you. Fuck your church, fuck your doors, and fuck your ways."
Can I jump in?
Yeah. Oh, just jump in anytime.
I love the idea of him turning on his heel and like storming out like down that row of pews.
Yeah.
And then at the back, like Kale sitting there quietly and puts a hand on like his arm as he passes her.
Yeah.
And then like however he reacts, I think Kale looks up and like she is the face of the Witch Queen. Like she has that coal like black eyeshadow, like this really sort of like pronounced and like sort of a black lip, and is like sort of playing up that aspect of like, I am clearly not from here, and clearly counter to like the current fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's, how does he react when Kale like sort of puts a hand on his arm and she looks up at him?
I think he flinches and kind of like walks into it, like he like as if he doesn't flinch away like I'm scared. He like turns into it like, I want violence, like he's not escalating it, but the way he turns towards you is like, I'm not scared of dying here. And he turns and like walks into your hand a little bit and says, but doesn't recognize you. He thinks you're going to be like another priest or a nun, and he says, "Can I help you?"
And I think when like he gives that signal that like he's sort of ready for violence, I think Kale digs her fingers into like his arm a little bit more, maybe like a prick of fingernail, just to be like, I get you, like I get sort of like to sort of to sort of convey that mutual sense of like heat.
Yeah.
And then I think she says very quietly, like underneath whatever like hymns or like sort of background ambiance is going on, I think she just says very quiet, like, not here. And then sort of like stands, and we get that creak of the pew as she does. And like I think she moves to take him into like a library or like some kind of like side room where there's like tomes or something where they can speak quietly.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think libraries aren't what they are now. It's probably one room with 3 walls of shelves and some scrolls and some books. It's kind of a mix, and probably I'm not going to start talking about the cataloging, but it's like whatever the abbot wants, and it's just ridiculous. It makes zero effing sense. It changes with every abbot. It's really a mess. Don't try to look anything up. The access is very difficult.
But there's few enough books that like ultimately like it's only going to take a couple of hours searching to find anything anyway. So like
totally. Yeah, I mean, not even a couple hours. Like you just kind of would like walk around. Might have to walk around the room twice. It's not that big a deal.
I would like to pitch just like some background ambience for this scene.
Yeah.
So I have some thoughts and feelings about this hymn business.
Yeah.
Which I think churches to the God of Paths and Ways are very deliberately designed acoustically to be very echoey spaces, but in a very deliberate way. Like it's a very resonant kind of echo. And I think unlike in in Christianity, for example, where like, there's a lot of choral singing, and a lot of that choral singing is focused on like kind of singing en masse with harmony within the group. I think a lot of the music that is sung in these churches is like rounds, and is other things where like there are like multiple voices singing different parts, echoing off the roof and having like weird resonance added to them by that. And then the contrast and the counterpoint between the different parts like creates the harmony and creates all these like weird assonant kind of like haunting noises.
Nice.
Also, I think the churches are like obviously like they're built like crossroads, right? So like they have 4 doors and they're like
totally
little plus signs.
Yeah,
there's probably a better word for that, but
like no, I know what you mean though. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think he calms a little bit and like takes a scroll and opens it on a reading stand, and kind of looks up from what he's open to and says, "Who are you?"
I like to think too, Kayla shuts the door, we kind of still hear that background like muted him like and like just through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Rob Fanag, right? I think when he says like, "Who are you?" I think she says, like, Rob Fanag, like you're of this branch of the family, like you were unrightfully cut off of that trunk of nobility, right?
Right.
Have you heard of the Night of No Moon? And the wraith worshipping branch
of the Lair, yeah.
Indeed.
It's Maddox's little slaughter.
I heard a rumor that no one escaped that night alive. Do you think that's true?
There are all kinds of weird rumors coming out of the Sedgelands right now.
What have you heard?
Some of the merchant caravans are talking about a witch queen.
I think Cal does like snort a bit at that, and then it does that classic thing of like, perhaps you're looking at her.
And I think he like, you know, like takes a step towards you as if to like look at you to believe it. And he says, what are you doing in Whitebeam?
Some people would perhaps cast it as revenge, but it's bigger than that, and I think that you know it. This is about justice. Not cowing down to those that have wronged you. Not feeling like one has to shut one's mouth and be silent while lies continue to perpetuate the power structures of our nobility. I think... No, I know that you want violence. And I think I can help make that happen. Because that's what I want too.
What's your plan?
We take Avens. We get their archers, leave them weak and vulnerable, and then we strike. That's step one. After that, let's just say I'm open to collaboration. Would you like a sway or something like that?
Yeah, make a sway. Like, there's only one thing I can think of. Like, if you fail, like, then something really weird must have happened before you got here. So, like, make that roll, and then we'll see.
Awesome.
We'll see what the dice tell us.
I have a feeling my stress situation isn't great. Yes, I have 4 stress, 5 stress. So I had the mate. Oh god.
Yeah, we stressed as fuck right now.
I may just have to let the roll lie.
Yeah, just throw the dice and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Let it be.
How's your sway?
I've got 2 pips in this way.
That's
2
like
pips. That's like amazing.
that's like a 75% chance of success. I don't know math.
Does my
That's
position...
2 times a 50% chance.
It's 75% chance that you'll at least get a 4 or 5. And you can resist side effects from that if you need to. Let me just double check my stress. Oh, no, I am tapped. I cannot help
I think
you.
we're all pretty tapped. That's totally fine.
Oh
Yes.
shit! Tome of Tomes says 2 pips. That's like a PhD.
Yeah, exactly. Tomes knows how it is.
Tomes knows. Cool. Yeah, I'll just let it roll. I'll
let it hit.
Risky percentage, right? Yeah, because it sounds about right. Look at a 5.
Cool. Cool. So,
It could also be limited effect. It could be that you partially convince this person, but they might need something extra or whatever.
So I think here's the thing. He really doesn't want the last hope of Fjorig to die with him. So I'm gonna start a clock that is like a 4-part clock. That's like, you know, he thinks you're on a suicide mission and he leaves.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you know, we'll just keep that ticking in the background. And you know, when it doesn't make sense anymore, we'll get rid of it.
Speaking of things going on in the background,
Yes.
I think at this moment the hymn like swells to like the finale, and I think like both the characters are able to like piece together and like recognize what hymn it actually is for the first time. And I think it is an old hymn from like before whatever went wrong to make wraiths exist. Telling like it is the tale of how the quest of a soul, like, you know, guided by the god of paths and ways, is meant to happen, like after death.
Love it.
But of course, you know, stings a little for these two characters, I imagine.
Yeah. Good shit. That's awesome. That is awesome. Cool. Let's seize a holding.
Yeah, let's make a plan.
I don't have a great plan. Do you folks have a great plan?
Let me read you verbatim the notes I have on my sheet from last session. I wrote, the boy is worthless leverage. The lady can't be flipped. Burn it down and start from scratch.
Ah, okay.
Which is to say, I don't think diplomacy is going to serve us well here. Like,
All right, Kale, what do you think?
Yeah, because from memory, our recon gave us a couple of hooks into Avens, but nothing like, oh, this is like an avenue for a diplomatic way to like
yeah.
talk them over to your side. It's going to be a bit more resistance than that, from memory. What are our options again for different sorties?
I mean,
Good
yeah,
question.
we can
Look at the character sheets. I have them open in a different window here.
assault, uprising, deception, diplomatic, infiltration, and siege.
Could we do something like uprising? Do we have like enough uprising leverage to convince them that
We need a sympathetic crowd, which we don't have. As a matter of fact, one of the few things I did find out about Avens is that the people are pretty loyal.
right.
The only diplomatic angle I can see is that the Warden of Avens was a sworn sword to Fjordag.
Well, yeah, and like
And he did say that as long as we can get Furag on our side, we will have his sword.
What
we really want is a bow, but-
what he said was like, if, because at some point like it came up like, hey, you know, we could go clean out Fjordag Castle of its wraiths, and he was like, if you
that's
go
right.
do that, then you'll have my sword. But
We also know that there is rumors that the Furag heir is what, like, over the border?
right,
somewhere, yeah. I'd just like to make an observation looking at this map. I'm currently illustrating it with my cursor, which is that if we were to cut White Beam in half down the middle, Avens looks like it is right on the border, perhaps even leaning on the Feorag half of the border.
Mm.
And we do have the rightful heir
right,
of half Feorag. I'm just putting it out there.
right.
But also, I really don't hate the idea of being like, cool, our sortie objective is to seize Avens, but our approach is an assault on Fjoreg Keep to
Yes,
cleanse it of ghosts, so
yeah.
that like the night guy will just like hand it over to us.
Oh, that's very dangerous when we are so low on stress.
Yeah, it's not. Look, I'm not saying
You
it's
can
great
heal
for
from wounds. Wraiths are a different story.
I will say a wraith sortie is the perfect place to get trauma. So if we're gonna get trauma from somewhere, that is an interesting
This
Facts.
is what I'm
Route.
saying.
But if the trauma's coming, like I'll take it on the chin. But also, yeah. I mean, okay. The cleansing race sounds fun and dangerous.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, we haven't done a desperate sortie where we could get a bunch of XP yet. So
that's very true.
That's interesting. We want
There
to do
is
that?
there is an alternate route. It's an ugly alternate route, but I
speak
have an
reason
idea.
to us, Strash.
No, this is just military tactics. We could do an about face. All of our actions have been to scout Avens, which means that we're going to be going in blind. But we can do an about face and try and take Gowrie. Because if we take Gowrie, then they're going to send archers against us, which might be the perfect time to actually try and take Avens.
Oh, I see. Like do a bait and switch kind of tactic.
Yep.
Hey, look, if we're talking about bait and switch kind of tactics, like, why not just go like completely like outrageous and just be like, cool, we've set everything up for everyone to think we're going after Avens. Let's just knock on the door of the manor and kill Lady Gia.
Partially because the manor is really strong. They're a higher tier than we are, which means that their numbers are going to be bigger than what we have, and
This
we're
is
really
true.
low on stress. On the
This is
other
true.
hand, since we're talking about uprisings and people that may be favorable, you've made significant inroads into the Gauria
Yeah,
orchards.
that is a good point.
We could leverage the already existing somewhat uprising there to try and cause that to go into open rebellion, which is going to force them to deploy the archers. Now, we can
That is
either
not-
outflank them, or we can just go and take their home base and be like, now what? You're out in the field, and we've got you pincered between two locations, plus we have your home base, so you don't have resupplies. What up, archers? How you feeling now? But, like, I don't know. I think going head-to-head in Avens is rough. I think that going
Yes, I agree.
dead in against Wraiths is I don't I hope we roll sixes, because it's about the only way we're gonna get out of that one. That's a dangerous place to be when you're like, dice, you have to back me up here, and that's the only thing that works.
Mm. How are you feeling, Brother Oren?
Look, I'm down for either of these. Look, if you offer me the chance to lead a popular revolt against the landowning class, like I'm always in.
So
I'm
let me
absolutely there to
double check.
reclaim the.
When you said we have the Fjorig heir, that was Lawrence
That's
that
like-
was
Seaton.
Rob. That was the guy we just talked to. Yeah.
I know that sort of like wrapped up where Judd was mentioning that he was afraid of, his line dying out. Did we resolve that? Is he on our side?
And it sounds like nominal, like he is until it hits a point where he's like.
Yeah, he
neutral
is until the
to
clock
like-
fills.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
then
I
that's
suppose-
it, going to his keep and like cleaning out the race maybe, but like what the hell? Like, but also maybe if we do it well, then it could be like, oh shit, you restored like this keep where my family died and has at least memories of my Wraith family.
Yeah,
so-
the wraith thing seems both risky in a way that is like narratively cool,
yeah, I
and
agree.
also just generally cool and like sick as hell.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm here to roll dice and hang out with some friends. So, like, if we're doing rates and we happen to just TPK on it, it's okay. I'm down for
these
it.
things happen.
Let's roll some dice. It'll be fine.
Let me just
And then let's
check
see-
really quickly how scars work. Everyone, give me a moment.
Yeah.
Then we can wrap up our campaign of Rebel Crown. We lost the second region.
Oh well. Do game next 2 weeks from now.
Speed run. That's it.
Speed run. Yeah.
maybe the title of this book is The Ascendancy of the Witch Queen, and maybe it's The Tragedy of the Witch Queen. We will.
Maybe it turns
Hey.
out that actually this is a campaign about the Fjorig getting Whitebeam back.
Right.
This is prologue. Like, who knows?
Ah, dang it. I hate all of you because there is such an interesting dilemma between uprising against landowners and going into wraith castles. This campaign is
Yeah, they both fucking rule.
they both rule.
Like, I think probably both of these scores we will do at some point. The question is, which one do we want to do first?
Right.
And like, Orchard first is good because it theoretically will be less stress risky.
Plus, it'll leverage a lot of
Wraith-
things like speechifying and oratory as opposed to combat. And the thing is that my combat is almost as good as it can get, but I don't have pushes. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I push, I trauma. So
Yeah, so like it's that on the one hand, and then the benefit of the Wraith job is that it means that like
we're gonna solidify
Whatever.
our hold on
Yeah.
on the kid.
whatever follows
Which-
with Avens. Well, not just the kid, but like whatever follows with Avens.
Yeah.
At least the knight will be on our side, which is like a big.
Well,
Inside.
the knight said that he would be on our side for the cleansing of the keep, but more importantly, if the keep sways the kid, then the kid provides us a diplomatic initiative that allows us to
Yeah,
sway Avens
exactly.
without necessarily lifting blades. I would
That's
prefer
true.
not to murder people whenever possible because we ultimately
no, same.
really want Avens to generate troops for us as opposed
We
to.
don't want to be unpopopular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that is the concern.
It's all about the clap. Ooh. So should we do?
Cool. Are we wraith hunting? Is that what we're doing?
I think we're raid hunting.
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
we're Wraith hunting.
I think that's what
Look,
we.
Josh,
what
you
we've
got like
settled on.
fucking. You got like 4 dice and
I do. Well, no, I
Lawrence-
have. I technically have 3 because I am wounded, sir.
Ah, that's a good point. Ah, well, you've got 3 dice. Lauren's got good dice in skirmish. I've got no dice in
I
skirmish.
got no
but I do
dice in
have-
skirmish. I got one.
But
Love
I
it.
do. I do have dice in prey, which is like kind of the same thing.
Kinda.
Look, against wraiths, it's
It's
basically
true.
the same.
Against wraiths, that is actually effective.
For once,
You're right.
I am actually going to be a combat effective character.
I do have a Pippin prey and a Pippin skirmish. So
Yeah,
I
there we
can
go.
at least-
Boom. Right?
I
Like,
can-
we got this.
We're ready to rock.
Yeah,
So
we're
I think
fine.
I think we're assaulting. Yeah,
No, I think we're assaulting, Judd.
I think we're assaulting.
sounds good. Is the point of attack the front gate where the slaughter of Fjoreg began?
Okay, here's the question, team. Because like, we can either go in, or we can lure the wraiths out.
Mm.
Well, the advantage of going in is that we do not have to fight all of them at once. The
Yes.
advantage of luring them out means that we're not gonna just randomly miss some.
Yeah, we're not going to get blindsided by behind or anything.
So,
But actually, I think inside is good because Rob gives us a massive edge there because he knows the layout of the place.
yeah, let's do it.
He is as good as having a map, depending on how well
Yeah,
he remembers.
yeah.
Right.
Let's
Cool.
let's
It has been,
let's go in.
you know,
Let's go in.
30
It's risky,
years.
but it's probably risky, but it's probably
Yeah,
better.
we'll see how it goes. You know.
We'll see how it goes. We'll roll some dice. It'll be fine.
And does
Like maybe
does
the hex map or something.
Yeah,
Nice.
X-Map, yes. We're doing a point crawl actually. It's the Great Hall, the towers, the dungeons, whatever.
That's it. Everyone, switch over. We're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons Basic now.
I mean, there are a lot of good point crawls. We could use the
No,
what's it called?
this is true.
The year zero system. I think that's
How do we feel about me paying a coin to get us some backup?
I don't yeah. I mean
How much coin do we have? This is
7.
my question.
Or at least my notes said 7. They may have changed. I stopped tracking
Yeah,
on
I-
paper for some reason.
7. That's fine. This is good.
I think so. Let me double check. Wait. I think you started tracking in. Is it the domain?
Yes. Yeah,
We have
it
7
should
coin.
be-
That's
yeah,
what the
right.
domain says.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna spend one of those coin to flash back to a downtime action.
All right, I'm gonna set that to 6, just so that we have it at least digitally recorded.
And Judd, this is a downtime action that I kind of like foreshadowed last time by soft cutting away from the end of that conversation with my friend rather than hard cutting away. Because I think we flash back and we see like the back end of that conversation where like, yeah, Aaron is talking about like at some point, like it's only decent and it's only sensible for the safety of everyone in the province to like go and clear out Fjoreg Keep. Like, it can't just be left a like haunted, bloody site of tragedy forever.
right.
To like further traumatize, the families of all of the like dead, and to
Well, remember
like,
that they're hiring
risk the lives of everyone.
they're hiring an extremely expensive wraith hunter
Yeah, exactly.
on the regular, and she sort of traumatizes people by telling them terror stories of what happens when people don't pay up. So
Yeah, and so I think I think Aaron just says to him, "What was my friend's name? Is this Lilius?"
Lilius. Yep.
Yeah, I think he's like, Lilius, I can't promise that it's tomorrow. I can't promise that it's next week. These aren't my decisions, but it well could be. Assuming you've kept in touch with our old friends, which I assume you have, there must be at least some priests within your number. And I could use some voices joined with mine if we're going to try and cleanse the place.
Cool.
and so-
I think for a coin that's reasonable. I mean, they're tier 0, but they'll.
Well, yeah. So mechanically, what I'm paying for an extra downtime action, and this is the muster levy downtime action.
Oh, nice. Okay, make a roll.
Which
Let's
lets
see what you
us
get.
raise a group. I would like a group of acolytes who can help me, do stuff.
Got it. Yep.
What is
That's
our tier again?
I think
Are we
it's
tier
1.
1?
Yeah, we're tier 1.
Yeah.
Roll fortune, 1 die.
P.S. If this goes well, I'm definitely taking powerful name as my next ability.
Oof. Yes,
How
they
bad?
are
Oh,
just,
that's bad. Do you want to just
they're
they're-
tier 0.
do you want to spend another coin, make them 1, or it's up to you?
Yeah, I think it's probably worth it.
All right,
I think so.
I'm gonna set the
Yeah,
coin
I-
at 5.
Tier 1 little levy. So it's like another 6, I think.
Yeah, I think you find like a a half dozen.
Oh, sorry, it's 12 for tier 1. But
Okay.
Nice.
So do we get to keep that, or is that for just like the job?
it's just for the job.
All right.
Yeah.
In which case, I'm not gonna add it to our regular.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's not just people from the common branch who are literate and observant and religious, but I think like the common branch like pulls a bunch of priests from their villages and stuff, and gets you half a dozen folks who are willing to go and cleanse House Fjordig.
All right.
Excellent.
Got some backup.
Yeah.
Let's
So
go.
it's alone now.
Cool.
Free
I can lead
phasmophobia.
it. I can lead at least one group action before I trauma out. It'll be fine.
Coming to ask you two to do things for me.
Yeah, ooh, this is gonna be good. XP for everyone.
Yeah. Let me bring my
Awesome.
sheet up because I'm probably gonna have to do stuff too.
All right, cool.
All right.
Do we want to do a fortune roll? See how this
Yeah.
goes?
Do you want to roll for us, Luke?
Yeah, God, I'm so
We're
torn.
going up.
Like part of
We're going up against wraiths. I figure this is, or should we
Yeah.
make Lauren roll because Lauren's the claimant.
is Lawrence responsible as ultimately
No,
for everything we do.
It doesn't matter. I just thought you might have it up. Actually, that was my secret
No, yeah, I've
reasoning.
got the rules. God, I don't know whether to hope that we get controlled and this goes well, or that it's desperate and we get a bunch of XP. Like,
Both are good.
I'm hoping
Well,
for
let's
controlled. I'm hoping for controlled. I like desperate when I
That
have
would be
stress
nice.
in my pocket.
so we start with 1 die for sheer luck.
Yeah,
I would say this is a particularly bold or daring approach.
it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have help from a friend or contact. That's
Yep.
Lilius.
Yep.
Judd, would you say it's fair that the fact that we have like gotten ourselves a little battalion, quote unquote, of priests means that we're hitting the target where they're weakest?
Yes.
Yep. All right. So that's 4.
And I'm going to say -1 because they're
That makes sense.
a higher
Very.
tier than you.
That does make sense.
They're tier 3.
Jesus.
That's normal for wraiths, actually.
Yeah, I know.
It's
just like-
very difficult to get a tier 1 wraith, actually.
This is true.
They tend to be in the 3 to 4 range.
And then, Judd, do we get a point for following up on preparations or leverage because Lauren grabbed us the Fiorag Air?
And Strash grabbed us some archers.
And Strush grabbed us some archers.
Yeah, I'll give you one for that. Yeah.
All right. That's 4 die.
Play hit slash roll 4 dice.
I've seen this come up 4-1 so many times.
Yeah,
like,
right? Like,
I just can't even count.
can't take anything. for
Let's
granted.
roll some dice. We'll just see
Roll
how
it,
it is.
roll it.
Just give it a quick prayer to the
Excellent.
gods of passive ways.
God of hearts and ways. There are many ways this could go. All of them are interesting.
All of them are.
It's
feared.
risky.
I trust you.
Cool.
It is risky.
there we
Well
go.
called, Strange.
No, Lauren rolled. I saw it. Sorry.
Oh, Lauren already.
3, 3, 4, 4.
Lauren already
Yeah.
rolled.
We're fine.
Okay,
We're fine.
Sorry, Lauren, I didn't see.
It's fine.
No, we got the same
Well,
result.
good, good job. We both got risky, so clearly
Clearly, that's what the dice meant. There's no
the god
confusion.
has spoken.
Let's roll.
Cool.
Passive
So
ways,
you
and there's only
get
one path.
you get past the front gate, and maybe like kill a few wraiths that were guarding it, and it was like a horse led charge, and the archers are kind of like double stepping it behind the horses, and they get in, and then like the sound goes dull and you can't hear the horses nicker anymore. And I think the first Fjordag race that you see are like vassal knights and members of the royal family. You're like in the gate, right? So there's the gate of the main keep and then the outer walls. And on either side, you see these people with their hands tied and they're kind of grayed out. And so you can't see the Fjoreg squirrel that's on their or the red squirrel that is their sigil. Oh no, you can see it because it's red, right? You can see red and gray. So like the red squirrel stands out, but everything else is kind of gray. And then they step off of the walls, and then you see like the jerk of the rope that killed them, and then they slowly like descend, off of the walls with like the ropes are kind of like these weird gray umbilical cords leading back to their deaths, and they kind of like descend from
This is
above.
freaking terrifying. Okay.
This is fucking incredible, John. You
So
were an
good.
artist, and I
Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, and now what do you? I guess that's the what do you do moment as they kind of like, as they descend.
Okay. Well, so I think there is a question here. Is this a battle, Judd? Do you think? Because the game does actually have like guidelines on how to do like mass battle in a Forged in the Dark structure.
Sounds good.
That
Yeah.
is the thing that we think. this
Okay,
is.
let's
Sounds
do
like a
that.
battle. Yep.
Yep. So, Battles in Rebel Crown. This is from page 37.
Yep. I'm on it. Yeah. So the faux clock, right? You start with 4 segments, and then you add 2 if the army is higher tier, yes, willing to fight to the death. They've got nothing else to fight to.
Yeah, exactly.
And the foe has a personal guard or special armor. And I'm gonna say,
Is that utilized by the priests?
yeah, I'm gonna say they don't. So I think it's their clock is 8.
Okay.
Yep. And then the field clock. Yeah, so basically, just like for the sake of the audience at home, in Rebel Crown, when we do a battle, it gets abstracted into a trio of clocks. So there's a clock for the field, which represents like the large scale of like, the clashing armies in the distance and like how it's going. There's the faux clock, which is the like, the like little kind of hero duel moments that are happening like in the foreground of the shot where we are like, oh, it's like so-and-so character versus like another so-and-so character that we care about. And then there is the full-out clock that just represents like general chaos going on, fires spreading, structures collapsing, townsfolk panicking, normally wraiths emerging. Not so much of a worry here, thankfully. And then, yeah, we try and fill all of these clocks. And if we can complete them all, we win the battle. And if we can't, then fuck us, I guess.
Well, you can retreat.
Well, yeah, I guess we can do that.
Not happening.
So we know the faux clock is an 8-step clock, Judd.
Yeah.
The
And the
field clock
Seems like a 6. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a 6. That feels fair.
The Fallout is going to start at 4.
Yep, works for me.
Sounds good. I've got those set.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'll keep
And then
track of those.
Strash, as our field commander, our levies can roll their quality independently of the retinue to advance the field clock.
Okay, cool.
But the faux clock, we kind of have to deal with, like, ourselves because we are main characters.
Dope.
That's interesting.
Right. So this is the classic scene, right? Like where we see armies charging each other, but they're just kind of nameless.
Soft focus
mooks.
in the background.
Yeah. It's lots of roaring and occasionally people fly and stuff. But then like the faux clock is literally like there's a named wraith who's like a captain or a commander, and then we have to like go toe to toe with them.
It's the wraith of the kid's parent or whatever, right? And we're like trying to reason with it, and then like, if this were like a real battle, like, and then every so often we cut away to like, oh my god, that trebuchet just like knocked down a building, and there's like civilians screaming, and everyone's panicking, and like, yeah. I actually think this is pretty fucking sick. Like this is cool technology.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So so what do we do here?
Yeah, I think they're descending towards you, and how are you ordering the troops, Arter?
I think we hit them with prayers first, and then if they resist / get through that, then we're gonna hit them with some silver weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like use the power of prayers to dismantle. Even if you dismantle the weaker ones, it's about like wheedling numbers and causing as much damage as we can. And we'll use the silver largely to protect the priests and any that get through. And then once we actually whittle down the majority of their numbers, we'll actually start individual hunts throughout the castle. I think.
Yeah.
That's the plan that I'm fielding.
Yeah, so I think Oren just like touches Kale's shoulder and like gives her a look like are you gonna join the prayer brigade? Are you gonna join the
The fighty brigade?
Yeah, Artea's irregulars. Like, what's your plan for this battle?
I have a cheaty idea that will give me 1 experience point. You're open to it.
Do it. I believe in you. Get that XP.
So, I think I would like to. I'll look at the mechanics. So, like, I think this is partially an XP gathering move. I think it's also partially a flashback to like the conversation with Fanog before we, like, while we were in that library in the church. And it's also me offering you a free assist, because I have that.
Great.
I can assist you for free.
Love to get a free assist.
so I think to sell all of these mechanics. I think I like the idea of Kale having learnt like the Fanog prayer or like the Fanog some like family phrase or saying or something that is really meaningful to them.
Yeah.
Because if this is like Fanog territory, then that's hopefully going to like lend more gravity to our prayer. And I think Kale, I would, oh God, I feel like so many flashback conversations. I like the idea of Kale being like, no, I can lead this. Like, I've learned the Fanog prayer. I am a victim of like violence at the hand of this. Like, I should be the one to lead this so it has weight and truth. And I think like she was about to do that and then freezes up when she sees these wraiths that remind her so much of like the Night of No Moon. And that's when we get like the Oren hand on shoulder.
The hand on shoulder like snaps you out of it.
Yeah, and then I think she looks at Oren and like sort of shakes her head like I can't do this.
Yeah, and he just like smiles and nods. And he's like, remember, Kale. Forwards, not backwards. And then yeah, I think like Oren, flanked by these like, 6 or like 8 priests, just like in a line start like advancing towards the wraiths. Yeah, and I think, like we get this long expectant silence, right? Of just like, it's just like the really wide shot, them all walking forward, the like mist like being swept up by the bottom of their robes, like no footsteps, no breathing, just like nothing. Like that bit in The Last Jedi where everything goes really quiet when the thing goes.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, the most impactful moment.
Without being too spoilery, I just communicated to everyone who has seen the movie. Yeah, so I think we get that, and like, the music like drops out even to this like low hushed like tremolo violin that just like feels like incredibly menacing and like oh god, like this is all gonna go horribly wrong. And then I just think we start to hear like Oren's voice, because the words of prayer are like the one thing that the wraiths like can't steal from the air.
Mm.
And I think, yeah, I think Oren just starts giving a sermon that like I think he was invited to give at this very keep like years ago, back when he was like working at the monastery in the Gowrie Orchards.
Oof.
And like it is the very same sermon. And I think as like then as now, like I think it was a sermon about like the strength of community, right? And like how there are many paths, and though we sometimes walk apart, like when there is a bond, right, that ties travelers together. When we break bread together, when we share salt, when we extend our hospitality to one another, it doesn't matter how far we are or how wide the roads we may have taken.
Nice.
We are all still traveling together in a sense, and there is a strength and a comfort in that.
Love it.
So do you roll your prey, or do you roll just like the unit?
I'm gonna lead group action.
Oh, okay.
I can't offer you the free assist if I am in the group action.
Correct.
Yes, Lauren, I was thinking group action for me and the levy.
Oh, I gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
Judd,
Uh,
I would like to ask: is this a thing that the young heir would also like to join in on?
Or is he
Yeah.
on a horse with the fighty people?
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
How does he want to
what's his
participate in this battle?
It's a great question. Yeah, he doesn't seem like the prayer type. I think
That's fair.
I think he's shoulder to shoulder with Arter, with like an axe with a silver edge, and a silver spike, ready to, kind of, tears streaming down his face into his beard and ready to throw down. Yeah.
I think Kale's assist looks like I think she is a few feet behind like the prayer group. I like think perhaps is like a silhouetted shadow of like her witchy form like castigates the stone. And I think she, much like we had the round and the church, I think she's just repeating that Fanog like phrase or like prayer. And I think like because they have a squirrel for their symbol, right? Like that's their.
Yeah.
I think the prayer goes to that effect of like we are strengthened by the roots of like us and our people, and from there like the seeds and acorns fall and we like benefit from this cycle and we grow strong together as like our roots become more like entrenched in the ground, like
Awesome.
and I think it's probably in Gaelic or something. I like old Gaelic.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor by which we talk about roads through the lens of like a tree and its many branches and its many roots.
yeah, exactly.
Sick.
We,
Alright,
we,
cool.
we might have to make a bunch of these rolls. Don't throw your prayer mojo out all at once, folks. So save something.
All right, so
Save something for the.
Judd, this is risky because that is what
Yeah.
we got on the thing, the doodad. What is my effect?
I think it's great, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that
Cool.
seems to make
I
sense.
love to have great effect. Can I get extreme effect if I if I mark a piece of gear?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, you can get +1. Well, actually, I don't. No, you can get potency. sort of. Let me try and get at this. There's
Yeah.
potency, quality, and they're like things that will actually grant you additional effect. So what Luke is asking is, if I mark a specific piece of gear, could I get potency in this battle? And
Yes.
that's a question: is one piece of gear enough to provide potency against an entire unit?
Is a holy relic enough?
That
Yes.
that feels cool. I don't know.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah, and I think what this is Brother Oren went by the ruins of the like little Trappist monastery.
Can I pause this for just 1 second? What are
yeah.
the 3 clocks sizes? I remember that it's an 8, a 4, and I think a 6.
8 for foe, 6 for field, 4 for fallout.
All right, carry on.
Yeah, I think Brother Oren, like on the way here, went by the like ruins of the Trappist monastery where he used to like be a brother, and retrieved. I think it is a like a little pouch that is like hanging around his neck. And I think it's made of like white leather or something, so it like is very stark against these like mottled charcoal gray robes. And it's full of dried apple seeds from like the very first like miraculous tree. Right? Like I think the tree that began the Gowrie orchards was like planted by a saint and it sprouted up overnight, or like it was one of those type of situations.
Yeah.
And I think many of those seeds were planted, but some of them were saved as a token and as a memory. Yeah.
Cool.
So we got extreme effect. I got +1 Dialarin because of your helping.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so that's that. And then we have a tier 1 retinue who are also participating. Cool. So I mark no stress. And we get a 6 with extreme effect, right?
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
group actions work. It's been a hot
Yeah.
minute since I've not
think
GM'd
so.
the blades and played the blades.
And is that
Cool.
that's affecting the foe, right?
No, this is affecting the field. This is just like Oren. This is like the background hazy bit of the shot. Like the big,
Got it.
the named boss Wraith, as far as I can tell, hasn't showed up yet.
So that's what 3 successes for grade, 4 for extreme. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I suppose the
All
question
right.
is, does extreme just escalate the same way a crit does? Or...
No, it just it escalates by 1. Like all ticks on successes are like 1 consecutive that I know of in core blades, and I haven't seen anything here that indicates otherwise.
Yep, works for me. Yeah, that's four ticks on that clock.
All right, it is ticked.
Yeah, and
It
I
is
think
ticked.
what this looks like is like, yeah, like Kale like starts up the Fjoreg prayer that's like counterpoint to it, and then like the other priests all like in staggered process like begin like the same lecture like that Oren is giving, and then Oren drops out and there's just like this wall of like this familiar prayer, and then as like the line like actually like approaches the wraiths, Oren starts like personally addressing like each wraith and just like talking them down, right, and like trying to de-escalate and treat them like people,
Nice.
which we've seen him do before.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think you see a bunch of them just kind of like fade, as they're like reaching for the first roll of soldiers, and they just fade, or they just like reach their hands back and like put their heads down like this, and then blow away like dust.
You've walked a long and dark road, my friends, for far too long. There is no shame in letting your burden fall away.
Awesome.
Can I add a little detail to that? Because I remember
Please.
that race like block out sound, right? So I like to
Yeah.
think that prayer and that round like has the vibrations in your chest when you like go to a concert, and you can kind of feel it going through your bones. But it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. Love it. Strash, you see like the first wave of wraiths kind of get kind of blown back to dust. I think you also see like the Lord and Lady Fjordag, the Lord with spear and shield, and the lady with axe and shield. Like I think they retreat with a few of their knights. So you see them like go back up over the wall, and then like kind of disappear into the keep. Somewhere in the distance, like you can actually hear some thunder, and it starts to drizzle a bit in the courtyard.
Has the sound returned enough that I can at least talk to some of the people that are like right next to me?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can kind of I think you kind of have to yell in ears, but yeah.
There may be some like combat shorthand then, which is basically like sign language, right? Like something that people are kind of used to doing just in case there's like sound disruption. So I think that's actually like I think I look at the kid to my right, and I he's openly weeping here, and I get it. This is his ancestral home, but I kind of give him the look, and I basically like sign the equivalent of like, can you do this? Like, are you ready?
Yeah. He bangs his axe against his shield.
Cool. So I think we see Artera's on. I actually have like a warhorse as part of my kit.
Yeah.
But just come with one. And so yeah, I think I just have this like, since I look like some sort of Final Fantasy protagonist here with my white hair and braids and all of my stuff. I think my horse is actually like the polar opposite. I think it's like just like dark black, right? And so I think what I do is, if I see clearly that my foe, look at that clock, is escaping, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just ride up and pull a Green Knight, right? Like where like the horse rears up and like kicks in like the rotting now for ages just sitting there doors to the keep, right? And I just like clip clop like straight into the keep, like looking to challenge anyone that's in that like big central room. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Like the feast hall, maybe.
Yep.
So yeah, and I'm bringing just like a couple of silver spears that have like some sort of like willow handles, so they look pale as f, you know, in the weird ghost mist. But yeah, I'm looking to confront the bigger threats. Like clearly the players are working miracles, pun intended. You know, taking out a lot of the line troops, but what I'm actually looking for is like the real dangers to the people here.
Right.
And I'm thinking of doing the same thing that Luke did. Just, you know, cutting loose and bringing my unit with me. Does that sound cool?
Sounds good.
All right. So does this sound like I'm attacking the folk clock?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it does.
Let me just go on that. So, what would you say is my position in effect, Judd?
I think it's also risky great. I mean, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I think that there's probably a neat moment where sort of like I clip clop into that keep, right? And I see the wraiths in front of me, and there's just sort of a moment where like the clip clop starts getting muffled, and then
Right.
once there is no sound, that's where like all of my braids like go up, and like I actually go charging forward in like absolute nothing, like yelling, but there's obviously no sound, and I'm just gonna drive as many spears as I can at them and see how it goes. So you said risky great?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I assume my wound applies here, so I'm gonna be one die down.
Yep.
Let me find my character sheet, which there we go. So I'm gonna roll my skirmishes. Risky, great. -1 die. All right, ready?
I am ready.
Here we go. Whoop. I get a 5. I'm gonna roll 1 die for my cohort, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Hey, cohort
Nice.
pulls the 6
Nice.
out.
We have the best fucking backup in the
Yeah, well, I mean, to be real, on my right rides the heir to Furag, and on my left rides probably, even though he's technically like the captain of the archers, the dude strikes me as like an old, like battle axe kind of knight, right? Like old Furag sworn sword, like that seems less Robin Hood and more like fighty dude. So I think like that's what I'm flanked by is like the people that know this keep have reason to fight here. It's no doubt that that's probably like, yeah, our terror's usually a terror on the battlefield, but they're probably far more instrumental here. Cool.
Wow.
So nice.
That's 4 ticks, yeah?
And we take no wounds. So like nobody dies. I don't have to cry.
great,
stress.
great effect, Judd. So three ticks.
3 ticks. Okay.
Yep. Check out my clocks, Judd. I've got clocks in Roll20.
Nice.
They're beautiful.
Wow.
They're
Oh
awesome.
yeah, they're nice. Heck,
I love how bloody they look.
That was exactly the plan. I was like, I'm looking for gray, black, and red clocks. Let's go.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
all right.
Love it. Yeah, I think you and the and you know the last knight sworn to Fjordag and the heir of Fjordag just cut through their knights and you know all the sworn ghosts who were, you know, throwing themselves between you and the Lord and Lady, and then like the room, you know, the room is quiet, but then like you can hear the hooves on the flagstones again, but then the Lord and Lady kind of you know appear, you know, in their seats where they were stabbed to death, and they get up and
The blood's still pouring from invisible wounds.
yeah, totally. Yeah, they leave like trails of blood behind them as they walk forward, and they're armed with the weapons that they didn't have time to get when they were murdered, and yeah, and I think
And like
they they stride forward.
Oh, are we just doing another roll where we take on
no,
these
I don't think
ghosts?
so.
Or...
I think we'll cut back to
Perfect. Sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I add like a last detail before we do?
Sure.
I think like where the like stark like moonlight radiance like shines off them, I think like just like the fringe around their feet, we like catch almost like barely flickering like moments where like the hall looks as it did when they were living, but like bathed in moonlight and robbed of color and stain, and you know, with this like terrible blood now just like staining it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is upsetting. This is sad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. So I think the next group of wraiths that you kind of run into, because I think like Artair and the night and the air kind of rode in, and am I right that it's like Kale and the priests and Orin?
Probably
like,
some of the archers and units from our regulars who are not frontline fight. Yeah, Drosten's units are probably there to protect them, but they're not like frontline fighters per se.
Okay. Yeah, and I think there's one tower in the keep that's just a burned out husk, and
it ignites in ghostly fire. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and I think the servants were locked in it, and it was lit on fire.
That's terrible.
And so yeah, it's still quiet, but like there is a almost like a gray flame that seems to come into the courtyard, as if the tower is on fire again, as those wraiths kind of empty out into the courtyard and come for you.
And we get the effect of like smoke drifting
Totally.
through beams of moonlight.
Yeah.
The tower. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, and so like I think as like, you know, these wraiths start like, you know, begin their advance, I think Orin like turns his back on them and like gestures for the priests to like come into a little huddle. And I think you tell me, Judd, but like I imagined that like the priests who answered this call are mostly like of an age with Orin, right? Like they are like they're here because they had relationships with these people too.
Right.
And so I think Orin and the priests just start having a very quick like and very efficient like hushed conversation, trying to like reconstruct like a social relationship map of the keep.
Mm-hmm.
Because like one of the key tools to like being able to deal with wraiths is like knowing who they were. And so I think they're like, right, we all at various times like visited this keep. Like who were the servants? What were the names of the servants?
Right.
What do we remember about them? Like, and I think they're trying to like get in such a headspace that they're going to be able to like recognize individual people on sight.
Cool.
And I am happy to make that a roll, Judd, if
No,
that
I
should be
think
like a study, I guess.
So what are you trying to do here, Luke? Are you trying to do like a setup? Because I think
this is a setup.
As long as you can get standard effect on your next action, you can definitely complete the field clock, right?
Yeah, this is true.
So like I don't know that you even need it. It can just be flavor.
My hope is we can roll on into Fallout, potentially. But
that's
a good point.
I see.
That is
fine.
a good point, Strash. Yeah. No, I think you're right, Strash. I think this is mostly flavor. Yeah.
Okay.
And so like, yeah, Orin and Orin and the priests like finish this little like, you know, huddle as like, and they finish it as they like stop being able to hear each other because the wraiths are close enough that like the sound is like being sucked back out of the world.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think Orin like looks at these people who already live such like precarious lives because of their courage and their willingness to like be involved in this uprising so that like the people in their villages will like have access to the common land that like lets them have fire in the winter to warm their houses and like food on the table to feed their children. Like these brave, like kind people. And I think for a moment, Oren feels like not guilty, but like a deep pang of regret having like brought them here into this like terrible, sad, dangerous place.
Yeah.
And then he like looks, you know, we get the rack focus shift, right? As like they all go fuzzy in the foreground and like in the background, like Kale like becomes super crystal clear as the like, you know, the focus has changed on the camera.
Yeah.
And I think he looks at Kale and like all of a sudden like thinks back to the Night of No Moon and like how terribly this could all go wrong, right? Like
Right.
having bought the air in here. And I think he just like, he doesn't say anything. He just like looks to the priests and just like gestures for them to go and like stand with Kale and like keep her safe. And I think just like alone, he like starts walking forward to meet this like second wave of wraiths.
Okay. Interesting. Sounds good.
Yep.
Oh, you're soloing them?
Yep.
Be
I
careful
want
though,
to
because
protect my people.
they may have scale.
This is true, but I want to protect my people.
Okay. Are you? Do you have enough to push here?
Yep.
I
I
can
got,
talk
one, I got one push in me.
Would you like another assist instead?
I would love another. I would love
You
another.
probably
assistant.
want both. You want to push for effect because
exactly.
if they have scale, you have
Yeah.
limited effect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, Jared, what are we looking at? Is this risky? Is this desperate? It feels fair to say this is desperate. Like,
Yeah, no, I feel like walking into this group of wraiths is desperate. I mean, I think
Yep.
it's desperate. I think it's desperate limited.
Yep. Cool. In which case, I will. Does my holy relic take that up to standard? Because it does give me potency.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yep. And then I will push for effect to go up to great, and I'll take that bonus die from Lauren.
Do you need to
think
push for
that-
effect?
That's a good question.
Because I would save it for the next roll if you're going into Fallout.
I always feel suspicious of GMs pulling that sneaky bullshit where they give you limited effect.
Oh, on a 4 to 5? Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I always
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
do
okay,
one
okay,
more
okay.
tick that I need to finish the clock just in case.
I think Kale's assist I imagine like could have gotten a list of people who once worked here from
Yeah.
Fjordag, and so I think she maybe has like a piece of parchment with those names, and I think she's standing far enough back where her voice carries over the silence, so like it's very eerie, and all you hear is like Kale's voice saying, you know, like Aoife, like Era, Finn, Fiona, like
Nice.
like Fickham
Yeah.
too, like I see you.
Nice.
Yeah, and so
great.
I think what we see is just like Oren, just like the wraiths are all about Oren, like trying to do that thing where wraiths like put their hands on you and wiggle inside your mind and like make you also a wraith. But like but I think like they can't quite, like there is some resistance, almost like when you try and move in water. Like I think the acorn is holding them back, like, and slowing them down,
Cool.
which gives him time to like, as each one like comes close, he can like turn to it, greet it by name, and like
Luke,
try and like,
roll the dice.
pull
I want to
actually
know how
roll the
much trouble
dice.
you're in.
Whoa! And it doesn't go very well.
It does not.
It goes the worst.
Hell yes. This
You
is what we
back
want.
that experience point.
Yeah, give me this fucking scar, Judd. Let's go.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah. So I think they flow past you.
Oh
And,
no.
and like, but like still like laying hands on you and like doing that kind of cold wraith damage. But so I think you take that. What is it? 3 levels of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, level 3
You're
harm.
desperate.
Actually, it could be 4 depending on scale. But go on.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's 4. you walked into a group of wraiths.
No,
And
that's
Solo.
Yeah, Kale, I think what you see is like the priests and your bodyguards really were like, oh well, he's got it. I mean, everything's been going so well, and then they flow past him, and you kind of like lose sight of him, like amidst the wraiths, and the group kind of scatters, and you all get kind of thrown hither and yon all over the courtyard in the castle.
Yeah, it's never been more apparent that like the color of Oren's robes and hair makes him look kind of like Wraith, like
Wraith-like,
monochrome,
yeah.
like all the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can
Judd,
resist it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Gonna say,
I would like to resist that level 4 harm, Judd.
Sure.
And yeah, I think this is just like. I think this just turns into a battle of will, right? Like they put their hands on me and they start trying to worm their way into like, into Oren's mind, and I think he just like is not going to fucking let them.
Yeah.
Like, that is not their place.
Sounds good.
No one has the right to be the master of another, right? Like,
Still level 3
and so
harm,
yeah,
though.
I think that's resolved.
Do you have magic armor?
I don't know. I took the healing ability instead.
All right. Well, this will knock you out. That's fine.
Yeah.
Kale's gonna have to mount a massive rescue.
Well, it depends.
Right?
Yeah, it depends, Judd. How far is resistance going to knock this down?
I think probably like 2.
Yep, works for me.
I did not expect that. Okay.
Is that okay? Like, what do you think?
Honestly, I was expecting only 1. I mean, there's a swarm of them. It's like
Right.
a person fighting 5 or 6 or 10 people is going to take harm, right? Like as if they're
Right.
fighting that group. It's usually lethal, but they're able to test it down. I mean, maybe this is cool fiction.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
the GM. You make the call. I was
Yeah.
just shocked.
Yep.
This is one of those instances where I wouldn't have even asked the GM. I would have just assumed it's 1 level.
Make your
poison.
test.
Yep. All right, let's go. All right. I take a level of trauma.
Yep.
Ooh.
Hell yeah, that's fucking exciting. Got to think about what that's gonna be.
Cool.
We actually have to read it. I remember reading Scars briefly, but they're like narrative. I don't remember the exact details.
Yeah. So.
You can always check it out and break too. Like,
Yeah.
break.
That's yeah. Kale, you're gonna sell a save brother Oren
Actually,
here.
okay. Here's the
try.
thing though. It works differently in this game, so in such a way that this is very relevant. When a PC marks their last stress box, they enter a moment of crisis. They must choose how to react. Take a final action with increased effect before collapsing, or pull yourself together and press on. So you can take a final action with increased effect and then blades like you're like out of the score, or you can just be like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna keep going, but you are no longer allowed to roll resistances.
Oh, interesting.
Because your stress resets though, so like you have is your stress reset?
Yes, like ultimately in the end, yes. Yes. So you don't return with 0 stress until the next downtime.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
the
so
the
you're still
reset
stressed
happens.
out for this scene.
Yep. Yeah.
Or
So I
this
think I'm
whole
gonna take.
sortie.
I think I'm gonna take one last, take a final action with increased effect
Okay.
before collapsing. Which
What is that?
just like, which is like I think. Not to like, I want to be clear. This is not like this was all Oren's plan, right? But like, in a way, like, this is the thing where like, if you decide to get in a wrestling match with someone rather than fight them with a sword, like, yes, you are closer to put your knife in them, but also you are closer and they can put a knife in you.
Yes.
And so like, I think while they are much more dangerous to Oren and much more able to hurt him while they're in his head, like, they are also much more vulnerable. Like they're right there. It's a
Right.
very immediate connection.
Sounds good.
And
what
so
do
yeah,
you-
I think Oren just starts like flinging memories of this keep when it was alive at them
Right.
Aw.
Wow. Cool.
to try and shock them out of this like weird limbo state. Cool. So that's a prey. I think it's probably still Desperate Judd. Does that sound fair
Yeah.
to you? My
Desperate
summoning-
limited up to standard with
standard.
your dingus. Yep.
Yeah, up to standard with the relic, up to standard because this action is with increased effect.
Got it.
Cool, so that's great. And I've got no bonus dice. Let's just fucking go and see what happens. There we go.
Sorry,
Nice.
I heard the blip, but okay. Sorry, I was staring at the
Oh,
OBS
Aaron
screen, which didn't
crushes
update.
it.
There you go.
Nice. Cool. Kale, I just want to cut back to you real fast before we get back to Arter. I feel like he tested down the damage, but there was still the moment where the Wraiths got by and like kind of threw everybody hither and yon. So is it cool if like we cut to you kind of isolated in the castle?
Yeah, I love it. That sounds good.
Cool.
I feel like we would have retreated like the acolytes, and I probably would have like come back from that, and maybe like a full-on look at in
Yeah.
Arin's direction with like a please for the love of fuck don't die kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And yeah, one of the priests is like huddling to you for in hopes of surviving this thing. And what they don't often talk about when they talk about Fjordag is that Rob is the living heir, but he had an older sister.
Oh,
And she walks towards you in the hall holding her neck, and you can tell that she was like in chainmail. She was doing something that like was desperate to her that had to get done. Actually, I think right? Just in the way that you know things in dreams, you know that she like got her throat slit, like putting Rob on a horse and like slapping the horse, and then someone like cut her neck, realized she's not going to live through that cut, and like they just let her wander the castle while the rest of the slaughter went on. And so she's like holding her neck, and like the only color is like the color of red coming out of it. And you see her kind of like hold her hand like this, and you feel her like spite and hate grip the priest at your side, and he like starts to die right in front of you. And you can feel the hate of like that all of her chances of being the heir of Fjordag are gone, that you have all this opportunity that she doesn't have. And yeah, it's just coming off her in waves, like not just hate and for the living, but for you. And because she probably knew who you were in life, right? So yeah, I think she's like, killing the priest and kind of coming towards you. And what are you doing?
Quick sort of just like order of operations question.
Yeah.
Did they fall and then we fell? So would she have memories of like Lolaire being strong and like together?
Yeah. Her memories are like, you being
the witch queen branch.
Like,
yeah.
Pre Witch Queen rumor.
Yeah, she has no idea that you guys fell. No idea.
Cool. Yeah, I think this guy's dying. I think Kale is standing behind him and puts a hand on his shoulder, almost as if he's like sort of a conduit for like their communication. And I think she closes her eyes and we sort of get like the coal black like of nothingness as she like sort of steals herself, and then we open them and it's that same violent passion that we see in Arter's eyes, like when they were like screaming at each other, right?
Nice.
And I think she speaks, of course, like no sound comes out, but sort of the sentiment and like sort of silent words that she mouths are like, he is not your quarrel. I think I was on just like instead of parlay, you know, like with her. Um, I'm having a monologue, but I just don't want to like ramble on.
Yeah.
If she's not open to like engaging, I guess. Like, yeah, how is?
Yeah, I don't think she can engage really.
Yeah.
I think she's just raw wraith feeling, right?
Mm.
You can try to pray at her. But they're not conversationalists, no.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I think, and I in that case, I think she starts speaking that Fiona prayer and sort of like repeats that as like a mantra,
Cool.
maintaining direct eye contact like on her, and I think steels herself with that same heat and like rage that she's expressing, kind of trying to match that heat that she brings.
Yeah.
And I imagine the prayer starts coming out with like, gosh, like sort of venom, you know, like as she says it more and more, it becomes more of like a war song or like a war cry. Like, yeah, I think that
Awesome.
it's quite peaceful, becomes quite violent.
Yeah.
I will pray.
Yeah. Do it.
I will push myself. What is my position in effect?
I think risky standard.
Okay, well, we'll see how that goes. One bonus die, please. Oof, does not go super great.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
3 and a 1.
Yeah, I think she so I'm gonna escalate it to desperate is what I'm gonna do. I think she like squeezes the priest like a grape and blood starts coming out of his eyes and mouth and ears and he falls and like the blood pools at your feet and it attracts other wraiths. And now it's not just her, it's like, you know, all the people who trained her and tutored her and you know made her what she was supposed to be in life. So now we're at desperate standard.
I think as that priest falls, Kale like reveals a silver holy relic that she was holding in her palm and just like stun her forehead, you know, like just smashes it against her face.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how this goes. I have some ideas where this could go, but that's her reaction now. It's just like, fuck it, the holy symbol to the face.
Yeah.
So are you going for like a desperate skirmish here?
I think this is a desperate skirmish.
All right, awesome.
Love it.
Which is good. Fun die in skirmish. I'll push myself again. We'll see. What is and desperate? Sorry, what's the effect?
Desperate standard, I think, but
standard.
Yeah.
And this is against foe, I believe, Judd. Yeah.
I'll just.
Yeah.
No, the holy relic is like a normal object, so it doesn't give me any benefit. I have it in my stash. Got a 2 and a 1.
Got it.
This is not going super great. So yeah,
Got it.
silver holy relic, probably in like a shape of that sort of pass and ways cross forehead. Whatever.
Yeah, I think the wraiths all reach out and very delicately start to drag you to their side of the door, and you take you take 4 levels of harm.
Mm-hmm. I will totally resist that.
Yep.
God, so brave, handing out the level 4 harm. I love it.
I think, having a look at my items again, I think I would like, what kind of resistance is this? I think this is maybe could be a prowess, could be a resolve. Maybe you can weigh in, Judd. But I think as those wraith hands grasp at her, she strips off like the cloak she's wearing, and she has like silver
Like silver chainmail.
Yeah, like all this silver chainmail kind of sitch. So as
That's
they're
amazing.
like, so their hands like smoke and still whatever they do, like as their hands like clasp at her. And I will resist. Oh, where's my roll 20 gun?
Now, how many levels does does this go down?
Ooh.
Yeah, but it goes down 2. Yeah,
Okay.
Same amount.
Okay. Can this be resolved resist if this is like a keeping my will to stand here while
Yeah.
Grace
I
comes to
dig
me?
that. Yep.
I got a 5, so I take 1 stress, right?
Okay, yep.
Okay, that's enough to trauma, so I will.
You get one
on.
last action. Would you? Or well, you can either try to push on
can
with
have
no
just-
ability to resist, or you could do one last great action if you want.
I might just do one last great action.
Yeah, do it. Do
What does
it.
that look like?
Personally, I can recommend it. It worked out pretty well.
We'll see. I think this is like this wraiths come for her and she shrugs off that coat and we get their like sort of wraithly hands on her silver chainmail and then she is just like fuck this and just keeps pushing forward that silver like holy relic towards this wraith and just pure grit and determination like as like, maybe her hands like shake a bit with like force as she's like forcing this on this poor wraith.
Love it. Yeah.
And yeah, I would like to try and take down this poor foe with
I think we're I think you've got silver, right? So I think it's desperate standard.
and I think I would like
And then up to great because you're taking the one last thing before you collapse.
Right.
desperate great. I think I would like to stop. This is when I think I start praying again, and like it is that very like determined, like harsh meter of like the Fjordag prayer.
Nice.
Trying to sort of like solidify. Yeah, like we are the same. We're rooted in the same tree. We share the same branches. Like our leaves may look different, but you and I share the same trunk, kind of thing.
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
Desperate great with 1 die. We'll see how this goes. Oops. I got a 4. So
Okay.
So you do it, but
I do it, but
Yeah.
and now I'm out of this one.
this goes on foe, right?
Yeah.
Or on-
Yeah, it does. It does.
Or on
yeah.
Fallout, potentially. Like, I keep having a problem trying to figure out what Fallout even looks like in the context of fighting these wraiths.
Yeah, because we're not trying to take terrain or.
Yeah, there's no civilians here to panic. Like.
I think the Fallout, if you don't clear that clock, I think what that would mean is that some wraiths don't get taken and they just like go out into the countryside.
Yeah. So in which case, yeah, this almost feels like a mopping up aimed at the Fallout clock more than
Right.
it does
Yeah.
like
Sure.
the big bad battle against the Lord and Lady.
Sure. I'm fine with that. If
I'm okay with it. Let me
Lauren,
swap
you cool with that?
clocks.
Yeah.
what's that?
No, I just was laughing at the fact that like other people were like, "Oh, that sounds fine," and I was like, "Is it my role?"
Yeah, it's
Why
yours.
not?
It's yours.
Do you have a preference?
That sounds fine. I think it makes sense for it to be the Fallout clock.
Cool.
in that context.
I just thought that the daughter was foe. That's why I was just trying to make the call.
Yeah,
there.
I thought the foe. I thought the wraith was the foe, but I guess it's the other people in this place.
That's up to you.
No, yeah, we'll just call it the Fallout clock. That's good.
Cool. So
Means I have to somehow pull out 2 rolls on foe. I was hoping you'd help me, but I guess.
Oh, okay. Well,
no, it's.
I mean,
It's fine. It's fine. I'll get this out of my pocket somehow. I gotta bring it home. Everybody else is traumatized.
I did approach it thinking she was a foe. Yeah. So I'm happy. Either way is good. It'd be good. Yeah. I think it's more important to take down foe than.
Fallout protects the people. Foe protects us as characters. That's
Right,
roughly
right.
where we land. I'll take it. It's fine. Arter can take more
Are you
wounds.
sure?
No, I am not. Not if I roll like the rest of the folks have been rolling, but I'll try. I'll do my best. Let's go. I'll trust the dice. I have more dice than you do in a lot of these actions. So,
Lauren, tell me what you think about this side effect. I think the side effect is that you ended up following her outside the castle to like push this silver into her and put the wraith to rest. And like when you like come out of the kind of wraith haze, you're in the middle of the wilderness, you have no idea where you are, and like you're lost to them and they're lost to you. Like you don't know which way the castle is. And so like they're gonna get out of whatever they're doing and be like, where's the claimant? And so like you're just totally separated from them right now. And that might mean that you're like your downtime is separate from them too. We'll figure out what that means as we go.
I love it. That sounds like
Is that cool?
fun. Yeah,
All right,
totally.
cool. Awesome.
Looking around, just like I see trees.
Right. Yes.
well, it can also be like recovering from that wraith haze, right? Like Artera is very familiar with this. It's the fact that they kind of like just fighting them steals your sense of self and focus and stuff like that. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah. Sounds good.
My level 2 harm I ended up taking was Moonlit.
Oh, interesting.
Because
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. Arter,
Awesome.
the Lord and Lady of Fjoreg are beckoning. Is every other clock filled?
No, actually, Fallout has 1 tick remaining, and Foe is way empty.
Got it.
It's cool though. I have ideas for handling some Fallout stuff if we need to. Right now,
also
it's
like the priest levy, probably like on their own initiative can also try and address that.
Cool. Yeah, I think they come for you. They're trying to drag you off the horses with their spear and axe.
that would be a huge problem, Judd, except for the fact that this is where we see, like, the hose of the horse strike the cobbles, and when it goes up, you realize Arter's swapped out its horseshoes. It's got silver horseshoes. Let's go. I'm a friggin' trample them.
Nice. Love it.
Cool. I think it's just straight up, like, skirmishing. I don't think that there's a whole lot here. I've got my levy with me. I think we're just going hot.
Sounds good.
Let's do this. All the skirmish dice. What's my position effect here?
I think this is risky standard.
Can I make an argument? So I feel like they have quality on me, but I think that we have both potency and scale on them, right? Because I've got units with me, and we're just fighting these 2 right now. So can I make an argument for risky great?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Consider Strash, you could also make it a group action and
I have to in order to get the extra, the extra scale.
Mm.
All right, so I roll a 5. Let's see how they do. Do they cost me a stress?
Come on, hat trick. Give me that 6.
Nope, that's a stress. That's my last stress that I have to spare.
Oh.
No, I'm fine. I'm not traumatized. I still do it. 4 to 5. Judd, tell me what the consequences are.
I think
I mean, it's totally okay if you just tell me I take level 2 harm or something. That's fine.
Yeah, I think it's simple. Yeah, I think you just take level 2 harm. Yep.
Done. I'm just gonna take it because I already have level 2 harm and I'm healing it, so it's fine.
Cool.
Cool. Do I take one of them out? How does the fiction change? We clash, right? Like, there's the raining of horse hooves. There's the casting of spears. Like, there's wraith, ghostliness touching people with their wraithly weapons.
Cool.
Where do we end up in this whole situation?
How many checks do you get?
3.
3? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so I'm most of the way. I need one more roll to wrap this up.
Yeah, I think you knock the Lord of Fjoreg out of this world with silver. And I think you see like the lady in anguish, and she grabs his axe before he goes and throws down her shield. And I think as she does it, it like changes and goes from like the wraith, shield, and like clatters to the ground, as like, you know, rotted wood and rusted metal around the edges. So it like goes from like this kind of black and white, you know, as it was the day she died, and when she throws it down, it just becomes what it actually
Yeah,
is.
like
and,
the 100-year-old relic or whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, this only happened like a decade ago, but still.
Yeah, but still, it's pretty
Wraith
well
touch
rotted.
rots even faster, I'm sure.
No, I mean it was untreated wood, right? Like
Yeah.
It's
not,
very rainy around here.
It's not in good shape. It's very rainy. The feeler egg lands are notoriously damp. Anyway, it's
Also, like, it was 25 years ago. It's fine.
right. Yeah. So yeah, she throws the shield down, and it kind of like clatters and comes apart. And yeah, she comes at you with axe and spear.
Awesome. I think Altair does that thing where you know, I just let the still sizzling silver sword that I was fighting with drop, and then like as she comes at me, I strike up a fighting stance, and I whip out that chain, the scorpion tail that I use as my weapon, the chain with the little striking point at the end, and I spin it up, and yeah, just as she's coming, I'm just gonna run silver right through her and do that thing where you like cut ghosts apart with it like it's some sort of like hot wire going through butter. Yeah, I'll just go toe to toe with her solo. Is that cool?
Awesome. Yep.
Let me roll some dice. I'm just gonna take my -1 die as normal. What's my position effect? Risky standard?
Yeah, I think it's risky standard.
All right.
If you have to think about it, it's probably risky
Oh,
standard.
no, are you kidding me? Here's my failure.
Okay.
So Judd, what goes wrong?
Huh. I think
Dice are not our friends today.
What's yeah. I think you start spinning that chain, and like, is the whole chain silver, or is it just the ball at the end that you switched out as silver?
Yeah, I think it's just the ball at the end.
Yeah. And so but I think like she's like playing the distance, and as she's like walking around, the soldiers are like moving with her, but someone slips, and so she like grabs them in, and with the corner of the axe, just like opens him up, and like splits his ribs open, and like leaves him on the ground, and that draws in the other wraiths who are still around. And so the room, like where it was just like you taking on these big wraiths, it becomes every entryway becomes clogged with wraiths as we go to Desperate.
Cool. So Judd, we're gonna do this one more time.
Yeah.
This is gonna be our Terror's epic moment. Yeah, I think if we were watching this on a TV show, right? Like,
Yeah.
We see the moment, right, where like our Terror, like, holds on to his chain, right? Was like clutching it until his skin is going pale, and we see that flashback to like when he was just like 14 and in the tunnels with like the dozens of wraiths closing in, and you can see like the panic in the kid's eyes, and then like the panic in our Terror's eyes, that he just like closes them and like reaches down and like picks up like one weapon off the ground, another weapon off the ground, then like his eyes snap open. And this is where I get my scar. I'm gonna push to fight like an entire battlefield here. So yeah, I'm gonna be the force multiplier, right? Like, she uses the blood to summon in like all the remaining wraiths, and I'm just like, that's cool. Hey Judd, can we say that this ticks the last Fallout because all of the wraiths are coming here? Because I want to take them all out in one roll.
Yep.
All right, let's do this. Dice, I'm asking you. I'm traumaing for you, Dice. Let's do this. Work with me here. Work with me. All right, so
and ways.
Desperate standard.
Yeah.
Desperate great. What's the?
I think we're Desperate standard.
Cool. Yeah. Oh no, not 6 bonus dice, negative 1 bonus dice. Thank you very much. And
6 dice would be nice though.
yeah, it would be. You know what? I can't take any more stress, so I'm gonna bring in the unit. Like let's all fight. I think our
Target,
lead,
right?
yeah, let's lead the peoples and let's do the thing. That's a crit.
Nice.
Thank you, Dice. Thank you, Dice. You heard me. It's the
Love it.
thing I needed here. So yeah, I would like my
what
creative.
What does it look like as you send her on her way? Send this wraith on her way.
I think it's just like one of those things, right? Where like our terror is fighting, and every once in a while you just see him like switch weapons, right? Like so he's using like a silver sword to like parry against her axe, but every once in a while you see him like kick up a spear and like chuck it through one of the wraiths that's like on top of like one of the other like units. Like you see the young lord like has like a wraith with like 2 hands on his arm, and you know like he just like chucks the spear through it. And I think it just, like, goes down to a certain point where, like, she brings the axe down and our terror, like, parries it until it comes in, like, real close, like, to the point where it's, like, almost biting into him. And it looks like she's gonna pull that, like, splitting maneuver through him again. And I think that he just, like... He does something where he, like, reaches, like, straight into her chest with his flesh until, like, it like, her eyes widen for a second. He just brings that sword through, like, the wraith essence of the axe, which explodes, and you see the rotting wood, and then, like, through her, like, ghost, like, format, and you actually realize that he's been screaming this whole time. There was just no volume, because as she disintegrates, all the other wraiths in the room disintegrate, too, and you just hear, like, Artair finishing that, like, ah! Like, battle strike. And then, like, you know, it's the classic, like, he, like, falls to the ground with the like, sword used to prop him up, like, hair flowing down, like, over his face, just, like, panting, like, after this whole fight. No one takes harm.
Very good.
Woo!
Awesome.
That feels like a good spot for a break.
Are you kidding? Yes.
Sounds like
Then we can talk
I'm
about-
freaking
then we can-
exhausted here.
Yeah, that sounds like a good point for an ad break too in the television show.
Yeah, we don't do ads on this channel, like,
Yeah, but
whatever.
you know, we can talk about scars when we come back.
Yeah. All right, cool. Woof. Let me set up a timer. That went a little bit longer than expected, but fix the thing. I was just like watching everything in chat, and I didn't get a chance to say something.
Tomes, you may need a bathroom break, but we already peed ourselves when we trommed out. So.
Heck yes.
Everyone's scarred. We're gonna be learning those rules here really soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
Start that timer. All right, folks. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. We'll look up some rolls, use the bathroom, and we'll see you just in a couple. Or we will as soon as I collect some stuff. BRB.